So you mentioned earlier about writing children's books. Tell me a bit more about those. And I think you've got quite a few under your belt now, and they're featured in, I think, Down Syndrome Northeast use them.
Yeah, so I'd already had kind of previous books that I'd written named after Maya and Oscar around kind of self-belief and confidence. And when Ava was born, well, before she was born, I knew I was going to want to write a book about Ava, but I didn't know what her character was going to be. The others are a unicorn and a dragon. So I wanted to kind of keep in like the mythical creature thing, but I had no idea, and I thought just didn't know what I was going to write it about. So actually having the postnatal diagnosis of Down syndrome, that was kind of my light bulb moment of I need to write this about inclusion and kindness.
So for you, it was about not necessarily about spreading awareness as such, is it? It's more about inclusion.
So it has little nods to Down syndrome throughout it. So Ava has her Heart Warrior scar on the illustrations. The fins on Ava and the other little mermaid that has Down syndrome are slightly shorter to kind of just go alongside the slightly shorter limbs and things with people with Down syndrome. And she has 3 colours in her tail rather than 2. So there were little nods to Down syndrome within it. Without it being about Down syndrome per se. So it was more about that kindness and inclusion, because I wanted to try and create, you know me, I'm all about changing the world, Laura. So it was about trying to kind of create that inclusive, kind world, to understand that some people need a little bit of help sometimes. And then obviously, so that's the one that goes in the Down Syndrome Northeast baby boxes. So any of the babies that are born in the Northeast hospitals get a copy of that as part of their welcome packs. It was used by Positive About Down Syndrome as well. I don't think they're using it anymore, but they were doing packs going into nurseries at one point. So they were using that book as part of the packs that they did there as well. And then obviously I wrote Ava the Mermaid Goes to Hospital. That was actually written as part of a charity project through COVID to raise money for children's mental health charities. And it was all, they wanted stories about that were health related. So it made sense. It was still fairly fresh in my mind at that point, with it being kind of 2 years after her surgery. So that was when I wrote Ava the Mermaid Goes to Hospital. And I wanted kind of that side of siblings' point of view and how they kind of coped with it, and just keeping the theme of the books as well, really, that kind of just looking at the emotions and that well-being perspective.
And that's led you into a new career as well.
It has, yes. I now help other people publish books. So on the back of doing those, people were asking me how to do it. So yeah, I ended up setting up as a book coach and publisher. But all of the books that I do really are about having that kind of changing the world element on them, all about helping people.
I've noticed that, like, you've got a bit of a kind of theme almost, isn't it, with the people that you want?
Because it wasn't intentional.
They're the people that you'll have the greatest connection with when you know, and that's important when you're helping somebody write a book, I think, to have that connection, definitely. I think having a child with Down syndrome, it changes your world, definitely, but I think none of us really realise or anticipate the subtleties of certain things that will change, like our careers, without necessarily directly linking it back to having a child with Down syndrome. But it kind of changes your outlook, doesn't it? And I think it makes you want to do things differently. And I think that often ends up leading to career changes and things as well, because it's been the same for me.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah. I want to say a massive thank you, Eleanor. I've really enjoyed having you on the podcast. Have you enjoyed it?
Thank you for having me. No, I feel really privileged that you asked me to be part of it.
Oh, no, I'm really pleased. Thank you. And the next episode, Lucy will arrive. I apologise for the spoilers up to this point, but I can't keep my mouth shut. But yes, we will cover a lot more about the birth of Lucy and what happens next. So please tune in. If you'd like more details about any of the things we've discussed in the podcast today, including Down Syndrome Northeast and the baby boxes, you'll find those on the podcast website.
Niltoni Broadcast Network, NBN. Popcorn for your ears.